feel like you're always being watched? There may be more times that you are than you're aware of. Unfortunately, we're not as far away from the dystopian society and Lois Lowry's The Giver than we would like to think that we are. In their community, the people are monitored by the government 24/7. Nothing is secret and nothing can be hidden. They live under the strict watch and control of the Department of Justice. Even one's thoughts, feelings, and dreams are not allowed to be their own and must be shared daily out loud with their families. These times of sharing within the family are also monitored by the government.
The United States of America has become the United States of surveillance, says former FBI agent Mike German, just one of many ex-intelligence agents fighting back against the eyes and ears of the NSA.
In a country where our rights are one of the most important things about us, is our privacy being compromised more than we know? In the past decade, the issue of surveillance has been highly debated. And today we find ourselves in a society where we are being monitored more and more. There are far too many striking parallels between the society represented in The Giver and the society we experience today. In The Giver, the government uses surveillance to enforce rules. When the main character Jonas took an apple home from school with him, this public announcement was made by the government to reprimand him. Jonas says it was enough to produce the appropriate amount of remorse and shame for breaking a rule. From the novel, it is inferred that everyone is continually tracked by audio and video surveillance. Likewise, in our society today, surveillance is used to enforce laws and deter crime. But where does it cross the line? Here are 7 ways you're being watched and tracked potentially every single day. The first is through license plate readers. These readers can capture and collect your license plate number, date, time, and location of every scan. And police departments aren't only retaining data on those who are a threat, but everyone. The next way you're being watched is through sidewalk and public space cameras scattered throughout city streets. A report from 2012 says that the city of Chicago has access to 10,000 publicly and privately owned cameras throughout the city. Virtually every segment of the public way is under video surveillance. The monitoring continues once you step onto a public transportation vehicle. Some cities are even looking into putting microphones on them. Throughout the daily use of your cell phone, you are also being tracked. While it's not legal for the government to listen to the content of private conversations conducted entirely within the U.S., the NSA can legally listen in on conversations if you're talking to someone who's out of the country. They are also allowed to collect phone call metadata for any call, including details on time, date, location, and phone numbers of each party. The last 3 ways you are being watched all have to do with your computer. The FBI can access your webcam at any time. Also, when you are sending or receiving emails, the private sector has access to these and can tailor advertisements to you. And many of us are already aware of the ways that we are tracked in these same ways as we surf the web. But did you know that the government also has access to this? After exploring all of the different ways that we really are being tracked and monitored by the government, it's easy to see how we are so much closer to the society portrayed in The Giver. Another parallel that exists is in the treatment of someone who is caught breaking the rules through surveillance. In The Giver, they are released to elsewhere, which is another word for murder. Our equivalent of elsewhere is in long-term jail cells or even the death penalty. In The Giver, the characters are greatly affected by the continual surveillance they experience. Jonas states that he was always careful about what he said, did, and thought. All members of their society lived in this way, careful and afraid. In our world, we are also affected by surveillance. It changes the way we act and think. It creates fear in people. Surveillance has many other negative effects. It reduces creativity, increases stress, and makes people feel more threatened. The overarching theme of it all is the issue of government power. In The Giver, the control of the government is greater than all. Personal rights don't even exist. Even Jonas's future and occupation are decided by the government. In our society, we are experiencing less and less personal rights when it comes to privacy. Especially since 9/11, we live in a growing society of surveillance. While it may seem out of your control, you can do something about this. The first thing is to do your research and to know what's really going on and in what ways you are really being tracked. The second is to remove or mask yourself from online tracking. You can do this through simple things such as removing yourself from targeted ads through your email account. The third is to stand up for your privacy rights and to fight against changes that are happening within the government. Go to the website listed to sign a petition to stop warrantless spying, and be the change.